The rain hammered down that November evening when Marcus heard the knock on his door. He wasn't expecting anyone. At 42, Marcus had learned to keep his life simple. Ever since his wife passed 3 years ago, leaving him with their son Jamie, it had been just the two of them in this old house. Money was tight. The medical bills had taken everything. That's why he'd put up the room for rent sign last week. When he opened the door, a young woman stood there soaked to the bone. She couldn't have been more than 25. Her wet hair clung to her face, and she held her swollen belly protectively. "I saw your sign," she said quietly about the room. Marcus hesitated. This wasn't what he'd expected. Coming out of the rain, he finally said, "You'll catch your death." She stepped inside, leaving puddles on the worn wooden floor. "I'm Emma," she said. "I can pay 3 months up front in cash." That caught his attention. 3 months would cover Jamie's tutoring and maybe fix the truck. "Are you running from something?" Marcus asked gently. Emma's eyes welled up. "I'm running towards something better," she whispered, "from my baby." There was something honest in her face, something that reminded him of his late wife, Sarah. "All right," Marcus said, "but I have a 10-year-old son here, so I need to know you're not bringing trouble to our door." "I promise," Emma said. "I just need a safe place for a while." The first week was quiet. Emma kept to herself mostly. She'd emerge from meals, and Marcus noticed she never complained about the simple food: beans and rice, eggs and toast. She ate everything with gratitude. Jamie was curious about their new tenant. "Why is she here, Dad?" the boy asked. "Everyone needs help sometimes, son," Marcus replied. "When I was younger, your grandpa took in a stranger who needed work, and that man ended up saving our farm during the drought." "Did you know him?" "I was just a kid like you, but I remember how Grandpa always said kindness plants seeds you can't see growing." One evening, Marcus came home to find Emma teaching Jamie math at the kitchen table. He was struggling with fractions. She explained, "I hope you don't mind." "Mind," Marcus said. "That tutoring was costing me $60 a week." Emma smiled. It was the first real smile he'd seen from her. Over the next month, something shifted in the house. It felt less empty. Emma would help with dinner. She'd fold laundry without being asked. She even fixed a loose hinge on Jamie's bedroom door. "You're handy," Marcus observed. "My father believed everyone should know how to fix things," Emma said, and her face clouded. "He believed a lot of things." Marcus didn't press. Everyone had stories they weren't ready to tell. December arrived with frost on the windows. Emma was 8 months along now. One night Marcus heard crying from her room. He knocked softly. "Emma, are you all right?" "I'm fine," came the muffled reply. "No, you're not," Marcus said, "and that's okay." The door opened. Emma's face was red and swollen from tears. "I left everything," she finally said. "My family has money, lots of it, but they wanted to control every part of my life, including this baby. They wanted me to give her up or marry someone I don't love." Marcus listened. "So I ran," Emma continued. "I took what cash I could, and I just ran. Because I realized all that money meant nothing if I couldn't make my own choices, if I couldn't be free to love my daughter the way she deserves." "That took courage," Marcus said. "Or stupidity," Emma laughed bitterly. "Sometimes they're the same thing," Marcus replied. "When Sarah got sick, the doctor said treatment might not work. They suggested we save the money for Jamie's future. But she wanted to fight. And you know what, even though we lost her, I never regretted that choice. Because love isn't about the smart decision, it's about the right one." Emma wiped her eyes. "Thank you, Marcus, for not judging me. We've all got our struggles," he said. "Rich or poor doesn't change that." Christmas came. Marcus couldn't afford much, but he put up the old decorations. Emma made cookies with Jamie filling the house with the smell of cinnamon and vanilla. On Christmas morning, there were simple gifts under their small tree. Marcus had scraped together enough for a new book Jamie wanted. He'd gotten Emma a soft blanket for the baby. But Emma had gifts too. For Jamie, a telescope he'd been dreaming about. For Marcus, a new toolbox. His old one had been falling apart. "Emma, this is too much," Marcus protested. "It's not nearly enough," she said. "You gave me something money can't buy. You gave me a home." 2 weeks later, on a freezing January night, Emma went into labor. Marcus drove through icy roads to the hospital, his hands gripping the wheel. Jamie sat in back, holding Emma's hand. "Breathe," The boy said, like Dad taught me when I'm scared, just breathe. Hours later, a baby girl entered the world. Emma named her Hope. When they brought Hope home, Marcus had set up the old crib he'd saved from Jamie's baby days. He'd painted it white, and Emma cried when she saw it. You didn't have to do this. Family takes care of family, Marcus said simply. But the peace didn't last. 3 days later, a black car pulled up outside. A man in an expensive suit emerged, followed by an older couple. Marcus answered the door. We're looking for Emma Charlotte Hastings, the man said. Emma appeared behind Marcus, her face pale. Mother, father. The older woman's expression was cold. This charade ends now. Emma, you're coming home. No, Emma said, holding Hope closer. I'm already home. Don't be ridiculous. Her father said, you're living in poverty with strangers. These strangers showed me more love in 3 months than you did in 25 years, Emma replied. Marcus stepped forward. I think you should leave. Emma's father looked him up and down. How much? He said. Everyone has a price. Not everyone, Marcus said quietly. Some things can't be bought, and you're standing in front of one of them. The older man's face reddened. But Emma's mother spoke for the first time. Is this really what you want, Emma? She asked this life. Emma looked around the modest living room, at the worn furniture, at Jamie peeking around the corner, at Marcus standing beside her, at baby Hope in her arms. Yes, she said, this is real, this is love, and that's what I want for my daughter. Something shifted in her mother's face. Then I suppose, she said slowly, we have a choice to make as well. Her husband started to protest, but she held up her hand. We can lose our daughter forever, or we can accept that she's grown up and made her choice. The room fell silent. Finally, Emma's father nodded stiffly. We'll respect your decision. He said, but Emma, you're still our daughter if you ever need anything. I know where to find you, Emma finished. After they left, Emma collapsed on the couch. Are you okay? Marcus asked. I think so, she said. For the first time in my life, I think I really am. Spring came bringing new beginnings. Emma decided to stay. She enrolled in online classes to finish her nursing degree. Marcus's contracting work picked up. Jamie excelled in school with Emma's help. And little Hope grew surrounded by love. One evening, as they all sat on the porch watching the sunset, Emma turned to Marcus. You know, when I knocked on that door in the rain, I thought I was just renting a room. And now, Marcus asked, now I know some blessings come disguised as strangers, and some families are built not born. Marcus smiled. Sarah used to say that home isn't where you're from, it's where you're loved. She was right, Emma said. As the stars emerged one by one, Jamie pointed out constellations with his telescope. Hope cooed in Emma's arms. And Marcus thought about the strange journey that brought them all together. Sometimes the greatest riches have nothing to do with money. Sometimes a room for rent becomes a home. And sometimes the family you choose is the one that saves you. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe for more stories that celebrate the kindness and wisdom life teaches us. And leave a comment below about a time when a stranger became family in your life. Retry Claude can make mistakes. Please double-check responses.